Hi everybody, it's Audrey. Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for stopping by. I am super excited to share that I am the weekly featured scrapper on the Scrapbook Expo blog today. So I will put a link to the blog down below and you can check out a little bit more about me and see all kinds of inspiration there on the page. So I am working with the Oh My Heart collection by Paige Evans, and I was inspired to use this collection because it has some book icons in it, some chipboard, and there's actually one of the piece of pattern papers with books on it. And I had this photo of my daughter and I, and she has recently been into this series called Upside Down Magic. And so we have been reading this book together, and I actually have to admit I like it too. But I wanted to do a page that actually kind of looked like a book. So I took some mixed media sheets. Those are from ThermoWeb, and they're kind of like a light interfacing sheet, and they feel a little bit like fabric, but also paper. They're 8.5 by 11, and you can print on them. So I typed up my journaling just in Microsoft Word, and I printed right on them, and I cut them down a little bit, and I layered 3 of them together because I wanted it to kind of look like a book. And I just cut them down to size and creased them in the middle, and then I put a piece of pattern paper in the background. So I had my layers there. And then I went ahead and stitched down the seam part, and I created my little book. So I wanted to add some like dimension to this, a little bit of depth. So I took a tape runner, and I took the bottom page of those interfacing sheets, and I kind of made them look with a little bump. I curled them a little bit. It's hard to explain. I propped them up a little bit. I offset them so that they would stand off the page a little bit to provide a little dimension for the photo. This is a relatively simple page for me because I wanted the focus to be on the book, and I didn't, and the photo, of course, and the journaling. So I didn't add too many embellishments. And I stuck to everything in this particular kit. I didn't really go through my stash too much. There was a lot in this, there's a lot in this collection anyway, so plenty to work with. So I'm just going through I took a couple of the washi tape stickers and some of the stickers from the 6x12 sticker sheets and kind of layered those around my photo. And I took some of the chipboard books from the chipboard sheet. And as I was doing that, I thought it would be kind of cute to dog-ear the corner there of the page to make it look like, you know, when you're reading a book and you save your spot and you put your corner of your page down. I liked this die cut that said books and more books, but moving it around, and it just didn't seem to fit very well. And it was cute, but it wasn't like, normally I would use a tag like that for like a title, but I didn't really care for that as my title, so I ended up taking it off. And I'm just picking out a few other things here. Some of the things I'm picking out because they kind of go with my theme, and others I'm picking out because they help balance the colors, like that little starburst I put behind, or sunburst rather, that I put behind the photo, kind of picks up on the yellow from the little cluster of books under the journaling. I also wanted to put a few like little tags behind the page to kind of make it look like a bookmark. So I found some a little skinny chipboard piece and another little tag. And actually that's what I'm doing here, is going through a couple other pieces to get another piece of paper to kind of layer there again to make it look like a bookmark cluster. And then a few other little foil bits. Sorry, I hit my camera there with my head and knocked it. I've got to tighten my display stand there that my camera is on, because every time I bump it lightly it kind of wiggles a little bit, so it needs to be tightened. Anyway, so I'm just going to play around with this cluster. I did move the photo up. At first I had it at on the angle in the bottom corner, and I liked how that looked, but I felt like I had too much white space in that book area up there. So I moved up the photo to kind of be opposite the journaling. I decided I wanted to add something else to the background to kind of make this look more book-like, and I decided to add a decorative kind of border to the top and bottom of what looks like the book. So I am going to heat emboss with some white ink. Nice shot of my hair there. So I'm heat embossing. I'm using some Versamark ink, and this stamp is kind of like a little scroll. And again, I just wanted to put it in the top of the bottom to kind of bring the page together. I haven't heat embossed in a very, very long time. I love to heat emboss. I love the texture it adds. And I especially love it when I am using a dark background and I want to get some white elements on there. White heat embossing, or heat embossing with white powder, is a really cool way to bring in some white in the background. And it's just like magic when it melts. It's just like, ooh, it turns out just the way I wanted. So that is done, and it did kind of warp my page a little bit, and I just love how that just brings that whole book together, and just kind of completes that page. And really, this is pretty much the design. I mean, I fiddle around a little bit with some of the embellishments, but I don't do too much else. And this is not very typical for me. I mean, I have paint splatters on almost every page I do, but I decided to not put splatters on this because I just didn't think it was going to kind of go with the white pages of my book. So I didn't even do that. So this is not I wouldn't call this a typical page for me, but I love the way that this design came out. And I love how I picked up on the book theme and did that. So I added a little, one of those little copper foil flowers behind my photo as well to kind of create the visual triangle of copper colored things. And I'm going to glue this down. Again, I didn't distress the edges of that large pattern paper piece there because it was supposed to be like the edges of the book. And I'm just going to glue the cardstock bits down. And I added some more washi tape there because I just didn't feel it was long enough and I wanted to go off the page a little tiny bit. And this little piece of pattern paper, I'm just kind of distressing the edges to make it look more like a tag or a bookmark, and I rounded the edges a little bit too. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Oh, I'm grabbing my hole punches to punch through these tags. I'm going to add some twine. And I like that little cluster up there. I'm thinking I should go back maybe and write something on that tag so you can see it. I don't know, maybe a little blurb about the book or something. Obviously, when it seems to me like when I type my journaling, when I do my journaling for a page first, the page just seems to come together so much faster for me because I've already considered where my journaling goes as far as placement. And sometimes that's one of the obstacles I face when I'm creating a page. I'm always thinking about, okay, where am I going to put my journaling? Where am I going to put my journaling? And sometimes I forget to leave a space for journaling, or I don't leave a big enough space, or I leave too big of a space and don't have enough journaling. So I think by journaling first, it takes away some of the guesswork when trying to design a page. So I should do that more often. I just fiddle around with a few more things here. I thought that I wanted to maybe add a title, something about reading, or it being a good book. And so I break out these stickers here and I put the word read at the top. But again, I did not like how, I don't know, it just kind of cluttered up that side rather, and I just didn't like the placement there. So I just use a few other small little embellishments and kind of scatter those instead. And I don't really have a big standout title on this page, and I think that's okay. I decided to use the phrase on the little chipboard piece there at the bottom of my photo, something about it, but good. All you need is a good book. And I thought that was suitable, and that's all I needed. And I think sometimes people get stuck on trying to make a title for your page, and you don't necessarily have to have one. Use a little something, one of the phrases from the die cut or a sticker from your page, and that'll do it. So here is my finished page. Again, kind of simple, but fun, and I love that I documented this memory, and that was important to me. And that's what it's all about, I guess. So please be sure to go check out the Scrapbook Expo blog. There's tons of inspiration on there every day, and I think you will like it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day, and stay scrappy, my friends.